Hello guys, welcome to the fifth episode of the UXClinic. My name is Jorge Simons. I'll be your host for today. And before I introduce you to an amazing team of designers, I'd just like to remind you that we have amazing content waiting for you at uxclinic.nearsoft.com. You can find complete episodes, each episode in video on demand. Also, infographics, kind of a do-it-yourself vibe for newbies or experts, and full reports in each test case or case study. So please check it out. It's really cool. And without further ado, here's Marisol. Marisol, welcome to UX Clinic.
Thank you, Jorge. My name is Marisol Ortega. I'm a UX designer here at Nearsoft, and I was one of the founding members of the UX Clinic. So this is our this initiative is our effort to help you or motivate you to embrace UX in your common practices, either if you have a website or a service or a product. So we are here to explore participatory and user-centered design approaches in order to improve user experiences.
Next up is Diana, who's also a founding member of the UX Clinic.
Hello everybody, I'm Diana Arballo. I have 10 years experience working in the software development industry, and also I'm a passionate person who loves the topics related with the user experience, and this is why I'm here in the UX Clinic. So thanks for watching.
She's kind of the visual freaky designer. She loves the collars and pantones and whatever. Also, not anymore a newcomer, Misael Leon. Misael, welcome.
Thank you, Jorge. I'm really excited to be here again. And I will say that I'm the guy that's always curious about what drives people's behavior and how to translate that into amazing visual experiences. And that has led me to work on different fields, such as marketing, advertising, web design, graphic design, and also as a user experience design here at Nearsoft.
So that's our panel of UX experts today. A quick shout out to Miguel Medina, who was also part of this process, but isn't here today. He'll be here next episode. And last but definitely not least, the star of the show today, Crowdswell founder Eric Dahl. Eric, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Can you tell us a bit about about your site? It's a really amazing platform. What are the users expected to do? What is this all about?
Yeah. Well, first off, thanks for having the time for me today. So basically, Crowdswell, it's a marketplace for getting community projects, community causes, community ideas, turning them into reality. So we have our beta product up and live right now. We're testing in a few smaller markets up in the U.S. and the state of Washington right now. And basically, what we want users to do is we're looking for people, nonprofits, other organizations that see problems, see opportunities, have ideas to make their communities better, whether it's stuff like me, I wish I had more public art in where I grew up, or I wish we had a new park, or could be a lot of different things, could be anything. But how do we turn those into reality? And so we've created Crowdswell as a platform to kind of using crowdfunding to raise the support that's needed to incentivize the right group to take on that project and turn it into reality.
That's really cool, because you're ultimately trying to save the world, I guess. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, that's our philosophy. It's like glocal. Have you ever heard that? So
yep.
It's we're focusing hyper local, like neighborhood level even. So we think that's the best place to start. Fix your neighborhood and you fix the world that way.
That's amazing. So just to jump into the technical stuff, the first thing we do when we get a new case is select a design method. Our team needs to find a really tailored, specific design method to evaluate differently each site or app. And what the team chose today was business origami and journey map. So it'll be quite a trip. Please hang on with us so you can give us your feedback at the end. It's really important. But let's kick it off with answering this question, guys. What is business origami, and why did you choose it for Crowdswell?
So when we went initially having meetings with Crowdswell, one of the issues that they told us that they had, it was the process of creating a campaign, or how they call it, a swell. And so we wanted to explore alternative ways to see how this the campaign creation could be done. So the reason why we chose business origami was because it's a qualitative research method for modeling complex services. So we wanted to figure out how a campaign is done for either an NGO or someone that has a social cause. So we wanted to bring together people that were related to that. So we recruited different participants from different NGOs, and we gave them this toolkit that it's a little cutout pieces of paper with different actors or interaction, and we gave them as a tangible artifacts. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to see how users experience the service as a series of touch points. So each one of the cutouts representing something, either a place, a person, or an interaction. So we want to see each one of the parts and little pieces of the process.
Yeah, and as Marisol said, we recruited 7 potential users from different NGOs, and then we put it here in this room, and we gave them these tokens, and they started the conversation and discussion how they get the funds on the donations for the different causes that they work. And it was pretty amazing to see how they interact with these tokens and explain the different ways that they take to get at the final goal. And then with this session, we produce a miniature model of this journey that then we have a interpretation session and a research session.
Basically, what we did during the session is ask the participants to narrate their own story while they go in the process of running a social campaign or whatever they want to fix on the community. And we asked them to highlight the following points. The first one is we asked them to tell us about the actors and the organizations that they encountered during that process. And then we asked them to talk about the communication tools that they use to reach out to that audience, to those actors, and then how they interact with each other. That is, how they interact, the organizations, perhaps with the environment, with the government, or with the community. And then the fourth point is the value exchange during those interactions. That is, whatever they gave or whatever they got in return in that interaction. And the fifth point, we asked them to tell us about their barriers and the obstacles that they find during this process. So that would allow us to transform them later into opportunities, so that we can make our own design iteration. But for doing that, we needed to translate those insights into a visually well-organized document. So that's why we did a journey map.
So when we went through the interpretation session, we came up with the journey map, pointing out each one of the steps in the process of launching a campaign and gathering all the funds in order to help a social cause. So we had each one of the points of the journey map and listing the things that Misael just said, like the activities, the communication processes, the actors, the visual, the value exchange, and most importantly, the barriers. After that, what we did is that we generated a new task flow, and we which included each one of the points that the participants told us that it was the most important for them when they were creating a campaign for crowdfunding. So the way a new task flow should be, it was that the first point is that the audience's lack of commitment. That they told us that they had this issue of they were launching campaigns and they were promoting them on social media, and they will get a lot of likes and shares and everything, but no one really did anything, or not a lot of people did. So we're calling them trigger real actions, or from the like to action. So the parts of the different wireframes that we're going to show next, they're going to tell you how we implemented each one of these recommendations. For the second one, they told us that they want to enhance recruitment, funding, and trust. And this was related to a lack of emotional connection to the cause. So we want to develop an emotional connection, and this is through storytelling, which is already in a way done in Crowdswell. But we wanted to make it a little bit more deeper, and including video and including how the story, like the whole story, so how the social cause was before, and how, like, what's the issue right now and how it could be after the campaign was done, or they got all the funds, all the funding. The third point, it's about building empathy, and it's about social perception. So they told us that sometimes they will get criticized about, like, why are you helping animals, or why do you like so much your park? There's a lot of things going on that are more important, and it's because people don't really, or sometimes they can see the reality of the problem. So they want to show them the whole picture and why they are so committed to this specific cause. And then the fourth point, it's about the campaigns are not being taken seriously, and this is talking to a different set of actors. So the three previous points, it was more related to people who could help funding a project, so individuals. And this fourth point is talking more about the private sector, so companies who can help a campaign. Sometimes they don't take this organization seriously because they think that their lack of stability and formality. So we want to help this NGOs projecting stability and formalities through different ways to show a visual identity.
Yeah, and just as reference, we are presenting here how the Crowdswell looks right now. And as you can see, it's only single cascade task. So we decided to break it and present a dashboard. We create a dashboard for Crowdswell that works as a storyboard, and we do that because we want to encourage the users to think in their story using a storyboard as a dashboard. And the other one of these is that the current dashboard has the same fields of the current workflow in Crowdswell, but also but these fields is now presenting in different steps. So that makes feels the user that it's a short and easy and quickly screen to fill with information. And also, we add two new features for Crowdswell. The first one is the time and goal. We want to present this information in the campaign. And the second is the logo and branding to support the team who is doing the campaign. And that's pretty much about the dashboard.
Yes, and basically how it works is you're going to click on one of the boxes on the dashboard, and a new window will appear on top. And it will ask you to fill out very specific information of that particular step of the process. So what you see here on screen is the section related to branding and logo type. This accounts for the problem or issue that Marisol explained about not being perceived like a serious institution or a serious campaign. So we think this is very important, even to the point that we recommend having this toolbox to generate their own logo or visual identity in case they don't have it already. So as you move forward on the dashboard, in the next screen, as you move forward, you will be prompted to fill out more information of the next step. This way of working, it is called progressive disclosure, which is working one step at a time. So that way you break a complex process into a small little task. Here you will only complete the information regarding time and the goal of the campaign. And the second screen that I'm going to explain is how you're going to tell your story. So we are thinking that we should explain it into from three different perspectives. That is how the problem is right now, what's the background of that situation, and how you're gonna fix that problem. That is, what is the desired outcome. And what better way to tell a story than telling it yourself? That's why we are suggesting having the opportunity to record your own video. And in case you don't have it already, which of course you can paste the URL on the field. So that way we're gonna encourage users to tell and present their story their own to make a stronger emotional connection.
Yeah, and that it's all related with the dashboard. And now we are presenting how the campaign will look once it will be launched. And as you can see in the left part, we place the logo, and the right part we place the time left of the campaign with days, hours, and minutes left to create the sense of urgency to the user. And below that, we have a huge video displayed, and we did it because we want to encourage the people to participate with the campaign and create a connection with the empathy. And below of the video, we have the other way to tell your story, that is that is below of the video player, and this story will be telling in 3 different ways, telling the problem, how it used to be, and how we want it. And we want to highlight the problem with a huge gallery with real images of the current problem to make the connection with the people and see how it's right now and how it could be if you are part of this campaign. And below that, during our workshop, the users tell us that sometimes the people is not available to do a donation or help, or they want to help in other ways. So this idea came up from this workshop, and we want to propose it to Crowdswell to get this section that is called Other Ways to Help us. And here the people can see other ways to be part of the campaign beyond the donation. And this is pretty much how the campaign will look once will be launched.
So finally, just to wrap things up, we want to give you 4 takeaways, just little pieces of advice for Crowdswell to move on their next design iteration. The first one is that we use storyboards as a way to facilitate the completion process. So the way the dashboard works is as if it was a storyboard, and they have to fill in each one of the little boxes in order to complete their story. And then the second one is to reinforce the sense of belonging to a group. So we want to help people that are running these causes to tell their whole story, and so they can bring up, as we said, this emotional connection, and they can feel committed to be part of it and either donate money or get involved in any other way. Then the third point, it's about using visual identity as a way to project stability and formality, and this is tackling the issue of being more connected with the private sector, and that the private sector can trust them. And then finally, it's just this thing about having the whole story told. So it's not only telling the story of what's the issue and what is happening right now, it's telling the story of how it used to be, that it was probably better, and then what's going on right now, what's the issue, and then now how it could be after they finish the campaign and they get all their funds, and how it will be done. And this is in order to provide a framework of reference of the whole situation.
So, as I warned, it was going to be a whole trip, from a workshop, passing through an interpretation session, then trying to understand what people wanted and turning that into a whole new way to create a swell. But don't take my opinion for granted. Let's go directly to Eric. Eric, what can you tell us about this? Is this something you see on your site?
Yeah, no, I think first of all, thank you for doing it. It's great feedback. I think I've already been getting some fairly similar feedback, just in different ways. I like how you guys, your process is great because you actually modeled it with the user, so that the feedback that you're giving is more actionable, I think. So I like the idea of the storyboard approach to creating what we call a swell. So it's like a campaign, and I like it. It does feel simpler like that. I think we've done several versions of where we're at today, and we started with kind of that vertical style, and it's just been hard to get it down to something that feels easy to do, because ultimately it takes a while to do. And so I like the storyboard approach. It feels a little bit simpler, but it also I feel like it does a better job of telling a story, helping to kind of elicit that process of telling a story. So that's great. And then, yeah, so that's one thing. Then the second thing is feedback on the other parts. I liked the structure you had on the swell in terms of one of the challenges we've had is we switched to a WYSIWYG. Hopefully everyone knows what that is. A WYSIWYG, because we wanted to integrate pictures with text to tell a story, but it also makes it kind of complex because then the user has to like create it all themselves. So I liked how you guys found a balance between kind of fields that kind of prompt the user for the information you need, and it feels simple, but then the way you structured it still felt like pictures are integrated within the text. It still told a story. So I thought it was good. And then the other thing that was on my mind, I've been getting the exact same feedback about how do we use this as a platform for, if it's an organization, let's say, to get more than just money. They may want volunteers. There may be other ways to help, and so that was interesting feedback there. I think that's going to be a definite part of our 2.0. I guess I'd be interested more. I know we talked about a little bit about the business Origami. Is there anything more you could share about that, about the process? Maybe just kind of giving a feel for how it went and all that kind of stuff. That process, personally, is new to me, and I think I wish I would have known about it before because it saves a lot of time. So I'd just be curious, any more info on that? I know you've already kind of given some, but...
Anyone wants to jump into that question? Okay.
Yeah, it was really interesting because as we talked a little bit before, we didn't know what to expect because we recruited people from different NGOs and they didn't know each other beforehand. So what we did is we have just different tokens and the paper cutouts, and we have different drawings in each one of them. Some of them were like little people, some of them were buildings, and some of them were like a computer or something like that. And people gave meaning to each one of the tokens. Like, we didn't tell them, oh, this is an organization, or this is a group of people, and these are volunteers. They gave the meaning to each one of the figures, and they laid them out on a surface, and they start to tell us the story of, oh, okay, organization, and they will put a token, and then they will draw an arrow, and then this relates to this group of people, and then they will say what's the exchange of information or maybe resources, and that's how they will creating the story of how they create a campaign.
It's almost like giving them an excuse to tell you all the secrets behind campaigning, right? So that's one of the things I felt in the workshop. Like, people were actually telling us their secret to, I don't know, raising funds or getting new recruits and stuff like that. So I guess time is pressuring me now, and you'll receive a full report, and we'll keep talking with you just in a second, but I need to wrap this up. So thank you guys for this amazing experience for the 5th time now. I just want to remind our audience that they can apply for the UXClinic at, again, uxclinic.nearsoft.com, and they can find the full video of this session just as we finish. And a big shout out to Vani, who's on my right. He makes this everything possible, from the mics to the cameras and everything here. So we'll see you in 3 weeks' time on a new episode of the UXClinic. Thank you guys for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.